Insurance September, a forum that discusses critical issues in the Nigerian industry, held its second edition today. This year's edition looked at trust as a key component and driving force of the insurance services sector. Convener of the event, Mr. Kerete Olagam Ikon, said trust was the blood of insurance and vital to the survival and growth of the sector.
From my interaction with customers, I found out that one thing that is missing and keeps, seeming like a moving target is the issue of trust. Because we are essentially selling promise. We're saying to you that buy insurance today. When something happens, use it. So it's only when something happens that you will know whether you got a good insurance or not. If something does not happen, you're fine. So that's the understanding that we all need to have. And yes, we have that understanding. But I found out that if we have that understanding, what then happens when a customer has a claim? So you begin to engage the customer as if you don't have that understanding. If the understanding is that buy insurance, when something happens, you will now test the insurance that you bought. But when something happens, it's a whole lot of confusion, so to say. And that's what we need to deal with. And in dealing with that, we brought forward the word trust. And so what I'm saying here to us this morning is that trust is the blood of insurance business. If you understand it the way I'm saying it now, and if you think about it for a moment, we're simply saying that without trust, this business will not survive. Without trust, this business will not grow. Without trust, this business will go nowhere. But with trust, this business can become transformed.
Giving his remarks, the Group Managing Director, Name Insurance PLC, Mr. Tope Smart, who were also the host of the event, alluded to the fact that the centrality of the insurance industry revolves around trust.
Trust is very fundamental to relationships, to partnerships, and everything you can do. As a matter of fact of humanity, trust is very, very germane. If we are in a relationship and I can't trust you, then the whole essence of that relationship is broken. And so I must be able to trust your words. You must be able to trust me, to perform all those things that are expected of me. But the EU is even more germane when you talk about insurance. The centrality of insurance itself as a profession revolves around trust. The truth of the matter is that I can go out to go and buy this. I can go out to go and buy my furniture. If I want to change my car, I can go out to go and buy a new car. It's something you can see. It's very physical. But insurance is you are buying an intangible product, an invisible product. What you are buying is a performance of a future expectation. So it means that trust is very central. And if trust is missing, then insurance will not be able to develop. And unfortunately, our insurance penetration in this part of the world, particularly in Nigeria, is very, very low. It is low partially because people don't have confidence in insurance. People don't trust insurance companies to perform. We want to increase our contribution to the country's GDP. How can we do that when trust is lacking? So we want to build trust and confidence in the insurance industry so that people will have confidence that, look, the contract I'm entering with any insurance company is a contract that I know that they will be able to perform their obligations. And so we are trying to put up a machinery that will make life easier for our clients so that everybody will be happy.
Various speakers at the forum shared their perspectives on the evolution of the insurance sector in Nigeria and the way forward.
part of the challenges I see that insurance has is the way it's being run here by the practitioners. One, I feel that it is time for government or the practitioners themselves to recapitalize. When you have too many insurance companies, it's jostling, and then they are not well structured in terms of articulating the principles that drive insurance and ensuring that that's well communicated. Now, the challenge we have, again, on the other side, from my own side as a consumer is, we believe we're so much religiosity, and we believe that nothing will happen. So there's no communication in terms of addressing that mindset that insurance is not about religion or God. It's all about communicating the values that are attached to insurance. So it is under communication of the positivisms attributable to insurance from the practitioners on this side. Now there's a debt of knowledge on the other side from the consumers as believing that nothing will happen. So you have a man that buys a vehicle of 14 million, moves around without insurance. Communication, education. Now going back to the trust issue now, when you invest in that insurance, how have you been able to benefit when things go wrong? That's where what MD just talked about being able to meet the demands. I remember one insurance company many years ago, their campaign was on 24 hours, they would do it. The campaign was heavy, and I know that it succeeded, it worked for them. The challenge is it still being done by insurance companies today? So trust is not a one-off, trust is long-term. So my little contribution is, if you want to gain people's trust, it's not a one-off. It must be based on long-term planning, and you must work hard. Once in love is not always in love. A consumer that is in love with you today can fall out of love with you tomorrow. So you need to consistently work on that relationship and ensure that not about the talk alone, you need to walk the talk by the things you put in place, the structures you put in place, and the communication effort to ensure that there is the confidence booster long-term.
If there is any nation that insurance should be essential to, it's Nigeria. Because of the risks around us. Everything is a risk. Traveling on the road is a risk. Taking public transport is entering somebody's property is a risk. Everything is a risk because we don't have the structures to even protect you. Unfortunately, in spite of those risks, it's difficult for consumers to look at insurance as an assurance to these risks because, number one, they lack understanding of what insurance is. The perception of the average Nigerian about insurance and what you know as professionals, they are two different things. I was sitting here now and the regulator was telling me, oh, because I came first, I was one of the first 5 people to arrive, they are going to give me personal accident insurance. Never heard of it before. Never heard of it before. Do you know that if you walk up to a Danfo driver and you tell him, you know you can take personal accident insurance or something on your car, you'll just be paying maybe 5,000 a month. If anything happens inside your vehicle or you hit somebody, we would cover it. Are you sure he will not do it? But he doesn't know. He's not aware. So if he's not aware, how does he take it on? You see, we all focus a lot on the corporate bodies. That's where all the insurance bodies focus. Meanwhile, the biggest market is the consumer market. But you are not working hard for that consumer market. 2, what kind of products are you designing for this market?
Here's the way to go. You have to understand the operator-regulator consumer interface. It has been left behind for so long. The role of the regulator has operated more from this bully headmaster who just comes and gives instructions all the time. What you need in the industry is a market-led regulatory system whereby you understand practice and allows you to do. I mean, the things you should be talking about, which your regulator should be focusing on, well, recapitalization is a good thing. But then what you should be looking at are things like RegTech, how you're able to do regulation without this, like what Shola spoke about. I cannot understand that the last time we passed these laws was 2003, the current insurance law. The language upon which it is being constructed is such that we left it where we took it from the 1960s. And we haven't ever sat down to take a second look at it to understand what these things are all about. Second thing is that the risk management framework was only recently looked at, and I think the president of INIA would understand that that's what part of what led to this recapitalization thing. But the risk management framework is not so much of just the capital, it's in the relationship within the economic space itself. What risk are the consumers likely to carry? And if you notice, for those who understand the insurance business and you look at reinsurance, you've seen that that business has gone where? Way down. The first rule about marketing is about understanding clusters. If you look at the Nigerian eco space and see where are the clusters for you, Shola mentioned one, the church. You can extend that to be the mosque. You can extend that to also sporting groups and whatever. If everybody remembers the disaster and the stadiums that we've had, up till now, I'm not sure there's any full insurance around those stadiums where we play football. And you can sell that to Pinnick and whatever. But like Shola said, to thy own self, be true. If you want to market and you want to go ahead, there is a market. This is a bigger market than you can imagine. But the issue about trust cannot be spoken about without any personal integrity on the part of the insurance company itself.
Mr. Tope Smart, GMD Name Insurance PLC, speaks further on the theme of the forum and the essence of it to insurance industry.
Trust is very germane to the business of insurance all over the world. It is all about buying an expectation. You know, you are buying a product that is largely invisible, that is intangible. You are buying an expectation that if anything should happen in the future, then the insurance company will come into your rescue. So that is why trust is important. You must have belief in that insurance company to be able to fulfill their expectation, and then the insurance company must build confidence in you to tell you that when anything happens, then they will come to your aid.
A major takeaway from this edition is the reality that if the low penetration of just below 2% in Nigeria's insurance industry is to increase, there must be integrity and accountability on the part of insurance companies in their engagement with customers and a market-driven regulatory approach that will enable its growth.